My first play school, I think it was, or junior school, I obviously upset one of the girls there, one of the other kids, and her mum asked the teachers if I could be removed because I was upsetting her child. My face, she didn't like it, I was scaring her. I was born into a traveller family. My mum was a Irish traveller and I didn't know my dad. My mum was white and so was her husband. So when I came out black, it kind of put her in a difficult situation. My mum thought that we would be ostracised if I'd stayed in the traveller community. And the story I was told was that someone saw my mum put me in a fire, and a stranger, we don't know who, saved me. In my file it just says that my mum put me in a caravan fire and tried to kill me. To be honest with you, I didn't know too much about what happened to my mum after the fire. I don't think there was proof, like physical proof. I think, yeah, there was a lot, there was nothing they could properly pin on any one person. So I don't think, I don't know what happened to her after the fire.
Was it hard growing up knowing that essentially the woman who gave birth to you tried to kill you?
Of course, it was horrible to think that, your mum wants to kill you. It's got to be one of the worst things to think, but I'm very, very lucky and very grateful. And I think I always felt that grateful attitude, because looking back on my mum and what I came from and thinking, what she did, I thought, God, what kind of life must she have had to do something like that? No normal person with a happy, loving, caring upbringing would make those decisions. Who's around her to think that's okay?
What were the injuries you sustained?
I suffered 3rd-degree burns to both of my hands, my face, the top of my head, I always wear a wig now, and my arm. I think all the doctors at the time thought I would die. Thinking back, a baby to have 3rd-degree burns over their face, which is a big portion of a baby, it's not, it doesn't look good. So the doctors just made me comfortable, gave me a lot of painkillers, but ultimately left me to it. But when I didn't die and I kept chugging on, they decided to get to work and start doing a lot of the skin grafts that, when you've got burns are necessary, you have a lot of infections. So they got in quick and did a lot of operations. I had well over, 4 dozen different types of operations, a lot of them to save my life, and a lot of them to try and make me look as normal as possible, if you can call it that. I was lucky I survived, with a lot of love and care from the nurses.
So when you were in hospital, did you have anyone there to care for you after that, apart from the medical professionals?
When I was put into hospital, it was made quite clear that I would be taken away from the family. And so I didn't have anyone. I was, you'd call a child of the state. I didn't have parents or a guardian, so I was a child of the state for a long time.
When were you adopted?
So I was fostered when I was around 6 months old, and I was lucky enough to be adopted by the same family when I was 6 years old. So I'm very lucky. I think that's sort of that. I feel like I won the lottery, really. I was saved from the fire and I was adopted with the same family. I was very lucky.
And what did they tell you about your birth family?
They were always really honest. My mum went with honesty, which I think is the best way. Age-appropriate honesty. They didn't jump straight in with your mum did it. Sleep with one eye open. Can you imagine?
Did you ever feel different as a child?
I did feel different. My first play school, I think it was, or junior school. I should know this, I'm a mum. What's that first school thing you go to? Anyway, whatever. I went there and I obviously upset one of the girls there, one of the other kids, and her mum asked the teachers if I could be removed because I was upsetting her child. My face, she didn't like it, I was scaring her. Even now though, even then I was lucky I had the foresight to know that's incredibly inappropriate to say that ever out loud. I was very lucky though. My teachers obviously said, no, You know, if you don't like it, you can remove your own child. This girl's staying. So I was really lucky I had these people in my corner. But it was more the fact that people thought it was okay to say these things and do these things. It wasn't until I got a bit older that I felt like my difference was something that was annoying and, you know, something that upset me, if you like, because I could get over how I looked, you know, pretty, ugly, beautiful, whatever. It doesn't really matter how you look in that respect, I don't think. You know, nothing's going to really stop you from having a good life. But what does make an impact is how people react to you. If I went into a coffee shop, the waitress or waiter wouldn't ask me what I wanted. They would say, whoever I was with, what does she want? Does she want sugar, coffee? As though I didn't exist, or I didn't have a mind, or I couldn't speak for myself. And that can get kind of taxing. You know, I felt like I was constantly having to make people feel comfortable. I was constantly having to wait for people to catch up. I think it's the roadblocks that keep happening. You want to have like a smooth day, but my day when I was younger certainly would always get stopped because people would want to pull me in to have a conversation. And sometimes it's nice, but sometimes it would be, do you know that there's plastic surgeons that can help you with your face? I'm like, oh no shit, as I've been using paper mache and plasters all my life. Like, do you know what I mean? But in reality, they're being nice. They're trying to say, like, you know, I've got some information, I can help you. And so the intention is actually fine and they're not being bad. But obviously for me, I'm just trying to, like, get to work and have a normal day, and I'm having these things that you're kind of having to stop.
When did you decide you wanted to look for answers?
It was when I sort of was settled. I created a nice little bubble for myself. You know, I was enjoying work, had a good relationship. I think I kind of knew kids were on the horizon. And I think I sort of suddenly felt that need to sort of understand my past. And I wanted to figure things out because I thought, you know what, if I don't do it now, I'm probably not going to do it. And I thought it was now or never. If I don't find it out now, I'm probably never going to find it out.
Can you talk us through what you find out?
I went to the Fire Brigade archives and got hold of my file, and I found out that my mum's husband's mum was there on the day of the fire. The names are very similar, and she saved me in the fire. She also suffered injuries, and so my mum wasn't actually there at all. I found out that I had family alive, and I got to meet some of them. I found out what happened on the day of the fire, that it was dubious, but it was more an accident than an intentional murder, I guess. God, I've never said that word. Yeah, it was emotional. I say this, I know I'm saying this, and it probably sounds like I should be really happy and smiling, but it wasn't like, you know, a lovely end. It was still a sad story, and there was a lot of victims around the story. You know, it sort of hurt a lot of people. So it wasn't a happy ending that I didn't expect a happy ending, but it wasn't a happy ending that you'd think. But it was just, I got information, and it was nice to know that my mum didn't try and hurt me on purpose. Do you know what the worst thing is? I can take pain to myself, right? I'll have it any day of the week, but I can't take it. Like, I'm a mum now, and I just think, sorry. You know, if my child went through life thinking I did that to them and I didn't, I just felt really bad. I felt bad. So, you know, why didn't I try?
Was your mum still alive at this point?
No. I knew she died when I was 7. I found that out that she died. And she had a really hard life, she had a really hard life. She died in a terrible accident herself. But yeah, why didn't I try? Imagine, like, I'm a mum now and I know what it's like. And for me to think, you know, I didn't hate her, for sure. You know, I didn't even feel like I ever had to forgive her or anything. You know, I just thought she had a tough life. But I just thought that to find out what actually happened earlier, and, you know, I know it doesn't matter. It's not as if it, you know, maybe affected her, but it just makes you feel guilty, you know, like, to think that of someone. It's It's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing, you know. Why didn't I question it?
If your birth mother was here now,
Yes.
what would you like to say to her?
All I can hear in the back of my mind is I would say I'm sorry for not giving her a chance and not trying to understand her side of the story more. Be strange to put a face to the story for me. I think that would really cement it all.
Has finding out that information changed you in some ways?
I think it's hard not to change you. You're going to take the stories people are going to tell you. You know, the adults around you are going to say one thing, you're going to believe it. You know, you meet people and it's quite nice to judge them, so you can make yourself feel very comfortable and you can put people in a box and then you can kind of categorise everything and feel very safe. But in reality, you don't know really everyone, you don't know the story. It's years down the line that you kind of really understand someone, and that's why it's really necessary to be kind and give people a chance, you know, and forgive people over and over again.
I was sat in my parents' living room, and it was like, I don't know, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning that I actually flicked the website back on. And in the first half an hour of the website being live, we sold £30,000 in product. So to go from 300 quid a day to £30,000 in half an hour, everything had sold out. It was absolutely mind blowing.